Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on whatever time it is you are tuning into this video of Articulate Thoughts. I'd like to welcome you. And today is Tuesday, November the 22nd. And I'm recording this video in my backyard, and there's a dog barking at me. But I just gonna try and make peace with it because I do like the setting, I like the backdrop, and I think it's appropriate to what I want to talk about today, which is my lifelong lover, music. And I call it my lifelong lover because out of all the things I've experienced in my 30 years of living, music has been the one element that's really helped me to connect to something beyond myself, beyond this physical experience. And it's really taught me a lot of things, like a lot of things, particularly like unconditional love and just being in a state of love no matter what the situation. And I think it's very synchronistic that this dog is barking at me while I'm trying to make this video. But I'm not gonna let that stop me. Like, I understand this dog is just kind of confused at my presence and just wants to respond in the way it is right now. But I will not let that dog stop me from doing what I want to do. So anyways, I just want to kind of just share a wide variety of different experiences and perspectives of music and the impact it's had on my life throughout the years. And I would say like my earliest acknowledgement of my connection with music when about 3 or 4 years old. Um, I was just at the time, obviously, I was only 3 or 4 years old. I was just experiencing life and didn't know how to interpret much of it. But as an older adult, I could look back, and in hindsight, I could really interpret what I experienced and what it really means to me right now. And so when I was 3 or 4 years old, I was in Orlando, Florida, with my family. My dad took myself and three other siblings to Disney World, and we got to experience the whole thing at a young age. And we went into this one presentation. It was like a laser show of the Little Mermaid. It had this was probably like back in like 1990 or something like that, and they basically like ran a soundtrack and just had a bunch of lasers and just kind of had scenes from the movies in lasers. And I just remember like when I was watching that scene and listening to the music, I experienced this sensation. It's like a weakness in like the right part of my jaw, and I just was encapsulated. Like nothing else really around me existed except for the sound, the music, and like the emotional content that the combination of those things brought to me. And this has kind of been the indicator in my life that I resonate with something that I'm experiencing. Is particularly when it comes to like sight or sound. I'll experience like this like weakness in my jaw and just this complete surrender or just completely captivated by this emotional onslaught, or just maybe being swept away by a tsunami. That's also a pretty good way to describe it. And so that was my first experience with like you know understanding or acknowledging some sort of connection with music and sight. And from there, like as I got older, I was really into like video game music, and it really helped bring out the emotions in the games. I mean, back when I was playing video games, like there was 8 or 16 bits, so just like little pixel characters on the screen, and the music was really brought the video game to life for me. And I always had like the melodies and the themes, like I was always like humming them or like making beats out of my mouth with them. And as my life went on, I took an active interest in participating with music in a much more intimate level. And in elementary school, maybe around like grade 5 or 6, my sister and I got into a dance group. At that point, we had already put on like solo productions, I guess you could say, you could call them. My sister was very creative in like singing and dancing, and she would choreograph these dance sequences, and we would practice and rehearse them and present them to our family during Christmas parties. And then that kind of built up some momentum and confidence to maybe do it in a bigger crowd. So when I was a grade 5 or 6, we were part of this Indonesian church community, and they wanted to have us put on a show for Christmas or Easter or any kind of events that they were having. So my sister put together all these like dance sequences and choreographed these dances, and I was part of that for a few years. And that was my first exposure to really dancing. And then as I got older, like elementary school, I got more into like playing guitar, playing piano, playing drums. I got into bands, and it was just like a very unique experience of, putting the time and effort to compose or like work through a song and kind of have all the bandmates together, be in sync and be on the same page, and kind of connect and create this community of sound and present the song. And that culture, I mean, I think everyone in high school always has that dream of being a rock star, being on stage and just rocking out and playing it hard out, and I was totally into that. And and on the flip side, I was also going to a lot of shows. Like most of my money spent in high school was spent on going to shows and buying merchandise, supporting bands that I really really loved, and it was totally immersed. My life was totally immersed in music, and um, I kind of extended my reach and was really into Japanese music. I was watching a lot of Japanese anime, and got connected with a lot of artists. And it was, for me, it was very interesting because in Japanese culture, like the pop stars kind of emerged from making opening themes and closing themes of TV shows. So a lot of the population would kind of become fans of these musicians by watching the TV shows and being exposed to the music that way. And I thought it was a very interesting way for artists to be exposed to that kind of situation. And then around that time, I experienced kind of like a downhill experience from there in life. And I guess like kind of growing up and having to go into university and accept all these responsibilities as an adult really got me stressed and worried, and I didn't really have a clear idea of what I wanted to do with my life at that point. And all these internal struggles kind of converged, and I got to a point where I stopped going to shows and I stopped playing music and I stopped, kind of disconnected, because I was just so, wrapped up with trying to, go to university and be successful in that way that, society and my parents wanted me to be successful at. And I felt like I had to give up music, my relationship. I feel like I kind of had to break up with it, and just put my attention to something I didn't really have any passion for, didn't really want to do. And um, in 2010, I actually was at an all-time low. All this like mental stress and all this disconnection from music, and just, stepping away from things I really loved. It really created a mental hell for myself, and I was constantly doubting myself and wasn't really sure, and I just had all these negative emotions. And I was in a place where I would listen to music. I remember I was listening to a song that I loved so much and brought so much joy to my life, and I went to the band's concert and I just kind of rocked out and was in the mosh pit and just was in total bliss. And I was listening to this song because I wanted it to make me feel better, and it just couldn't. I was completely disconnected, and I felt so depressed because of that fact that this song I loved so much in the past, like, it just had no meaning to me, I had no connection to it. And that was kind of the beginning of what led to my attempted suicide in 2010. And after that, that's kind of like on the flip side of things. Like um, after I had that experience of attempting suicide, I decided that I was gonna, do things for myself and live life according to what I was passionate about and what I felt was important to me. And then I started getting associated with the rave culture and dance music, and experiencing music in that way. And when I experienced life on the dance floor and I was able to really let loose and really get connected to my roots of when I was in elementary school, feeling that connection of sound and connecting it with my body and expressing it, that was what really opened up a dimension to another thing altogether. Because what I later realized was I was actually meditating, using music as a form of meditation, which is just to say that I was present. I mean, meditation is a very loaded word, and all it really means is being present, being connected, and just being aware of thoughts, emotions, sensations, whatever it is that you're experiencing. That's all meditating really is. And um, and from there, I just kind of really connected with like the raving community, or like the festival community, and just observing all these different things that emerged from music, and the love of music and the passion of music. And right now, I'm in a very unique experience in my life. I'm on a cutting edge experience. I feel like I uprooted my entire life, moved 4,000 kilometers off to another side of the country, and start a new circle of friends, start a new job, start a new living situation. And it's been about a year now, and it's been like the best experience of my life. And I feel I'm beginning to really just catch grip and build my foundations. And I feel like music is really the lover of my life. Like, it's like a reflection of where I'm at. And if I'm at a place where I'm listening to music and I don't feel connected, like, I know that's my fault. That's my responsibility, because I'm not being open, not being vulnerable, not taking the chances, and not utilizing the opportunities that are presented to me. So that, like, music for me is a tool of reflecting how I'm really feeling and where I'm at. And again, just like 30 years in, and just into this experience, and just realizing what it means to me and like what I want to do with it, it really means everything to me. It's really helped me identify like my purpose here and what I want to do here. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with everyone today. Um, there's so much more I want to say, but I've kind of limited myself to 10 minutes per video, so I'm just going to end it here. And if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, or maybe you want to share your experience with music and like maybe how it's really taught you about love or your life experiences, and feel free to share, post a comment, maybe post a video. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will continue on, and I'll see you next week if you decide to tune in.